Hey everyone, this is Christine Job of Flourish in the Foreign, and you are watching Flourish in the Foreign on YouTube or Facebook or maybe even Twitch. And I appreciate you guys coming in and watching and just being plugged into the platform. Now, if you're new to Flourish in the Foreign, I don't know why you are, but Flourish in the Foreign is a podcast that elevates and affirms the voices and stories of Black women living and thriving and doing the damn thing while looking damn good doing it. Yeah, it does. It also explores living abroad as a pathway to wellness. And here on this platform, we're actually talking to past guests, we're talking to Black women, experts, people who can help you really thrive abroad. That's what this kind of video format is all about. And today is a special day. Today we have dun 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 dun. We have Traneka Southwell. And Traneka Southwell is a Houstonian who uprooted her life and moved to South Korea and later to Spain. While in Spain, she created Melanin Madrid, an organization that helps Black, Indigenous, people of color relocate to Spain through community, consulting, and digital resources. Melanin Madrid boasts over 2,000 members and counting and engaged, because I'm part of it. It's very engaged, it's very engaging. Currently, Melanin Madrid has produced a docu-series called Black in Madrid. It has already premiered. The first episode is already live on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked it out, what are you doing? And now, without further ado, I already messed up my little things I was supposed to do. Okay, without further ado, here is Traneka. Hey,
Oh,
Traneka.
that was fast. You put me on there fast. Hey, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And thank you so much. If y'all don't realize, it is 11:30 a.m. here in Barcelona. I'm actually still eating my breakfast because that's how I roll. And it is how what time is it in Houston?
It is 5 a.m., 5:35 a.m.
Can we get a hand clap over this beautiful beat and like beautiful spirit at 5:30 in the morning?
You do what you got to do. And plus, I'm a morning person. So this is my jam. Anything in the morning, catch me around 3 or 4, and it's nothing. Like I can't function.
I appreciate you because sometimes I think I'm a morning person, but I'm a morning person that doesn't talk to people. So I may not actually be a morning person. So that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I
Um
attribute my friendliness just to being from the South, in the morning, so I get it though.
all right, so let's get into it. Um so like I said in your bio, you moved to South Korea and then you eventually found yourself in Spain. Tell us briefly about how you moved to South Korea, how you ended up in Spain.
Well, okay, so I was so bored with my life. I was like, this can't be life. I think I was around 23, 22, 23. And I was just, I just graduated college and I was SFA, by the way. I'm a lumberjack. Um, but I had just graduated from college and I was like, okay, like, what am I going to do? And I was so bored and I was like, this is not my life. So I started following this group called Brothers and Sisters of South Korea. And I was like, okay, maybe I could go here. But I followed them for about a year before I actually made the decision to go to South Korea. So I went to South Korea and that really did something for me because I felt that I had lived in fear so much. And I was like, I'm so tired of living in fear. As Black people, we're sometimes we can live in fear. Our family, our families, especially my parents was like, why would you want to go there? They would say all these things. But I ended up going to South Korea, and like I said, that did something for me. I was like, hey, I can do this. I'm not scared to do certain things anymore. And flash forward, maybe a year and a half later, I decided that I wanted to go to Spain. I had a friend that was there and she kept telling me, hey, you have to come, you have to come. And then I ended up in Spain. So, and that was where I stayed in Spain for about like 2.5 to 3 years. So, yeah.
So tell us, where were you in Spain and what were you doing?
I was in Madrid. I was teaching English. I taught at a really great school in the suburbs, or afueras, as they call them. I taught English, and it was fun. I was like, okay, this is great. Um, and then I decided to stay another year, and that's how Melanin Madrid was born. Um, yeah, that's how Melanin Madrid was born.
So tell us, what is Melanin Madrid? Like, don't
So
keep us in suspense.
I know, right? I just gave you like a cliffhanger, right? But so Melanin Madrid was really honestly a celebration of the friendships that I had created over the years. I had so many different types of friends, and I felt like I was really living the life that I had always wanted to live. I'd always been interested in people from different countries, just interested in learning and just seeing their perspective of America. Like I was able to look at my own country very objectively. And a lot of things that they were saying, like, of course, I didn't like, but I just sat on it and I was like, let me really think about this and see, if I can analyze this, if it holds any truth or whatever. But I had met so many different friends. And so I said, hey, I really wish this person knew this person. I wish this person knew this person. And so I was like, you know what? I was in my apartment and I started thinking, I was like, I need to create a group or something, just a group that we can all like throw information off of each other, help each other learn, you know, so the next people who come in won't have to go through the things that, I went through, and then just so we can have fun, right? So I created Melanin Madrid. I started thinking of the name. I had another friend, he kept thinking of all these names. I was like, no, Melanin Madrid is the perfect name. I just know it is. And so it really stuck, and people were really excited. We had our very first event. It was like in May of, I don't even remember the year. It was maybe 2016 or 2015. So we had our first event, and it was a huge success. It was in a plaza in Lavapiés, and like it was just great. We created like this video of it, and everyone was so excited about it. And what I'm most proud of is that it has just remained like the same energy has been kept throughout the years. There's different energy because different people, but I'm proud that this really helps people, and people really look at it as a resource.
Yeah. We're gonna get more into it, but I just want to pause because we have some more people who have joined us. Good
Oh,
morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, because I don't know where y'all live. But thank you for tuning in to Flourish in the Foreign on YouTube or Facebook. Appreciate you.
thank
I
you.
have the amazing Traneka Southwell, creator, founder of Melanin Madrid, executive producer of a docu-series called Black in Madrid. And we're talking all about her experience in Madrid, and how she has created community and just been like this amazing content creator. I mean, that's what we're about to do right now. So, if you
Thank
have
you.
any questions, or I was going to say concerns, I don't know, whatever. You have questions or comments, put them in the comment section. I will get to y'all. We do have some comments so far, so let me hit y'all up. Okay, we have one. Hello, D Walker. Hello, Gaylan Wright. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hello, Sophia. Oh yeah, in Barbados. Oh, I
Oh
need
my
to come
God, so
visit you, girl.
excited.
So we have one from here, from Gaylan. Gaylan says, "What'd you do in ROK? Is that Republic of Korea?"
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Well, I did teach English in Korea as well. I actually was working at this Hagwon, and this is what they call like a private academy. But it's also, I think it's better to work in a public school, honestly. But I was working in a private academy, so yeah, I was teaching there. And shout outs to Greensboro, North Carolina. Come on and
Yeah.
raise up. But yeah, so that's what I was doing in South Korea. And South Korea was it's really awesome. It's an awesome place. I do 10 out of 10 would recommend.
All right, let's get back to Spain though.
Okay.
Let's get back to, how was your first year in Spain? How did you acclimate yourself? What were some, not necessarily struggles, but how did you acclimate? Like, what were some things you had to figure out or get adjusted to?
Oh my goodness. There were a lot of different things because, as you know, living in Spain, culturally, a lot of things are just different, which is to be expected because I mean, I'm not in my own home country, right? Um, One of the things, of course, is just the language. I think people think that in Madrid, a lot of people speak English, but they don't. They really don't. So I had taken Spanish in school and I had been very interested in the language. So I would say, like, it really helps to have a solid knowledge of Spanish. The accent is very different. I'm from Texas. So I'm used to a certain accent. I'm used to like a Hispanic or a Latino accent. I'm, very accustomed to that, mostly the Mexican accent to be specific, but the Spanish accent, and then a lot of different phrases and terms. You just have to get accustomed to. Like, it in context, but you're like, oh, why do you say that like that? That's interesting. And also just getting used to kind of like the timetable, I guess the schedule, because Spanish people, like, they'll eat at certain times. Like, they really do eat at certain times, like, seriously. So like sometimes you'll go to restaurants and it's really closed, like, because they really eat at specific times. I'm trying to think of something else that I had to get used to. When you have Spanish roommates, like it's very different because they're very communal. Like, people in Spain love to do things together, like to eat lunch together. So I wasn't really used to that. They were like, do you want to eat lunch? I was like, I mean, yeah, I want to eat lunch, but by myself, and so I think Americans are a little cold or standoffish, but I think that it's kind of like we culturally, we're not like your automatic friends. I know I'm not your automatic friend. Like, we have to build a relationship. And in Spain, they're just so loving and just.
I agree. The biggest thing I've heard people say about Americans, and they're always like, not you, Christina. I'm like, I don't believe you because you just made that little caveat. And they'll be like, Americans are so fake. And I'll be like, really? And they're like, yeah, because y'all are like so like, we do this like, oh, hey. We're very like outgoing, like socially sometimes, like, oh, hey, but they're like, but y'all don't really want to hang out. And I'm like, that's not true. Sometimes I do. And they're like, and y'all don't really like to be around other people, and you guys have to have very like a structure, like people need to let you know. Cause like when I moved to Spain, I was like, if y'all didn't ask me about a week ago, it's gonna be no.
Okay.
And you have to get used to being like, there's no advance notice in Spain. It's like, let's go today, right now.
Exactly. Because you could literally meet someone in the hair store. I'm serious. Like, I've done this, and we'll be like, "Hey, let's go to lunch. Are you hungry?" You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is super like immediate there. Whereas, like, no, I feel you. Like, I'm like, oh no, you should have asked me a couple days ago. Let me prepare my mind to get my life together. So I could get my, got to prepare yourself, especially if you're a little bit of introvert. You want to be able to prepare yourself for what's to come.
That's the thing. Like, I don't know if there's introverts in Spain because everybody's just like, let's go. And I'm like,
they're about it. They're about that life.
I've had to grow. So
You
let's
both.
talk about, you created Melanin Madrid. Um, let's talk about the Black and Brown population community in Madrid when you first got there. Describe it to me. Like, who's in there? What's going on?
Well, the Black and Brown community, there are a lot of Latinos in Madrid. Not only a lot of Latinos, there are a lot of African people, Senegalese people, to be specific. So that was very interesting for me. There are a lot of brown people, like there are a lot of, especially in Lavapiés. If you've lived in Lavapiés, of course, Lavapiés. There's just an amazing it's a cultural mecca, really, honestly. Like, there's so many. You have your Pakistani people, you have your Indian people, it's so many different types of people in Madrid. And so a lot of them are a part of one of them was a part of the documentary, actually. Um, there's just so many cultures to pull from. So even if you feel like, hey, I'm having a hard time because I don't see any Black people, you could always go to different parts. You have a lot of Dominicans too. Lavapiés, you have Cuatro Caminos, you have Alvarado, you have all of these different areas that just make you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside and have good food.
And that's crucial because Spain, so I gotta say it because I feel like people don't really get it. Spain is a white country. It is.
It
But some
is.
people don't get it. I think they think it's Latino. And I'm like,
It
no.
blows my mind. I'm like, guys, it's Europe. It's Europe. Spain
They
is
think
in
there's some
Europe.
extra spices. And I'm like,
No, no,
black
I'm
pepper and paprika. Like, that's about it.
barely any salt. Okay, okay. Like Spanish people are white people that speak Spanish.
Yes. Yes.
They're,
That's the
they're
best way to say it. Like, completely.
right. I mean, there are mix as you go like to the south of Spain, of course, but um there are a lot in Lavapiés, there are a lot of people who are that this is it's just a very diverse, but like you said, Spain really is a white country.
And
Period.
so tell me, how has it been in your experience, knowing that Spain is a white country? That's just what it is. How has it been in your experience dealing with either prejudice or discrimination, or just maybe made you feel especially other in Madrid? How has that been like for you?
Um, you know what? I'll be honest. Like for me, I think that I haven't really experienced like really any blatant racism by Spanish people, but I have by Chinese people in Madrid. Just to be
Mm.
honest, like I've been accused of stealing in a store until like they actually asked me to look through like my stuff. And I was like, I didn't steal your shit. I don't want anything in here. Like, but I didn't say anything. I just let them because I have my passport in there. And once they see your passport, like all's well, you know. Once
Mm.
they saw that I was American, they were like, oh, you're American. And I was like, yeah. But not saying that Americans don't steal, but I think that they saw like, oh, okay, I've only really experienced honestly from Chinese people
That
because
is
there are a lot of
so
Chinese people in Madrid, by the way, also.
That is so interesting. I think that is, I mean, that could be a whole conversation in and of itself.
Right,
The different minorities and the different interactions, especially dealing with, whether people are first generation Spanish or second generation Spanish or
right,
who they
exactly,
perceive you to be. Like passport
right.
privilege is real.
It
So,
is. Now I have had conversations where I'm like, dang, that's hella that's hella racist, like with people, and I've had to like, point that out, of course. Or I've been in situations where I've seen people get discriminated against. Honestly, I believe, and this is just real. I believe if the skin is darker, honestly, then I do believe that people discriminate more. Because I remember, I will never forget this lady, a beautiful lady. She was walking, she was brown, beautiful brown skin, and they were basically discriminating against her. And I was like, wait a minute. So I just stepped in and I was like, I don't understand. Like, you just let this person go through, you just let this person go through. Like, why can't this lady go through? Like, I need answers. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important for you to just stand up. You got to stand up for people. Like, there was no way I was going to let that situation like go down and me like not say something. So she ended up getting through. We were at the metro, and I'm like, I don't understand. Just you know how it can be.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. So I have some comments. Well, let's get to the comments that we have. Do 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 do. We have.
Do you see this, Coach? How was your experience with being Black in Korea compared to Spain? Woo,
Oh yeah, let's do that one.
child. That was a different monster. Like now that was different. South Korea was that was different. You know, like Spain, you do have different cultures in Spain, whereas
Mhm.
like Korea, everyone's mostly Korean. Yeah, that was tough. Now I did experience a lot of discrimination there. I try not to, the country was great, but I did experience a lot of racism or prejudice rather in South Korea. That was tough. It was hard.
Um, a lot of times people will say when you're abroad, especially if you're American, because they're always like, we're not racist. Like we don't do that American thing. People are just curious. And I don't know how I feel about that because I'm like, I mean, a lot of people like consume American culture and
Yes.
television, so of course, like, and it's embedded, like, so of course you probably have these prejudices. So tell me, do you feel like the experiences that you've had were based off curiosity, or did you think that there was more of a, I don't know, malintent or something?
You know what? In Korea, I felt that it was a lot of curiosity at times, because, they would always, it's just some different things, they were like, oh my goodness, like they would talk about like the color of my skin, or it's just like when you walk into places, it's just like, so I think there was curiosity, but there also was a lot of discrimination as well. So it was both. In Spain, Lord, there was a lot of ignorance in Spain, but there was a lot of ignorance. It was, yeah. So I think I kind of really experienced like strange things in both. But Spain was just a lot of ignorance. They would
Yeah,
say a lot of dumb shit.
they do. And this is
A
obviously
lot of
not a
stupid
general.
shit.
This is a generality. But
Yeah.
if you want to come fight me, you could go ahead and do that. Because I'd be like, I got examples for days. But I think it is a deep ignorance, and it's not an innocent ignorance. I think that all you have to do is see the education system and what people are taught to realize it is very intentional ignorance that Spanish people, especially if they have never left the country, are taught a very much watered down view of their own history and their own impact on the world. They
Yeah.
are not taught that they are colonizers and
Yeah.
colonization is bad, and the reasons why, a lot of these migration issues and things like that are literally the seeds of their own um, interference
Yep.
and craziness that they've inflicted on the world. There's like a very strange disconnect that a lot of Spanish people have around why most like of the world speak Spanish and are Catholic. Whereas, people speak Spanish here, of course, but like they're very secular. Like there's a weird disconnect.
Right.
And
Uh-huh.
all you have to do is speak to people and they'll be like, what do you like? I remember this old man when I was living in La Rioja. He asked me, we were on a bus. He was very kind. He offered me like some apples or something. I was like, I don't want your apples, sir, but thank you.
Oh,
I'll
girl
take them.
from his village, girl.
I was in the village, so I was coming back into the city. And he was like, where are you from? And I said, I'm from, Los Estados Unidos. I'm from the United States. And he was like, no, but really, like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from the United States, from Atlanta. Da, da, da. I'm like, my
Mhm.
dad is from, Trinidad and Tobago. And he was
Right.
like, oh, okay. And I was just like, what? What? And they don't even understand, like, why is it like black people from the Caribbean, which we're not native to the Caribbean?
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then also like Trinidad, it's a Spanish, it's Spanish for Trinity, like Trinidad and
Right.
Tobago. Like they don't understand slavery, they don't understand colonization, they don't understand any of their parts. And that is a huge issue. And then they claim like, well, there's not a lot of black people here, or there's not a lot of other people here. So how would we know that? And yet they consume all American content. You can see on their TikToks or YouTubers are all like knockoffs from America. It's like we could talk
Right.
about all day.
Right. A lot of times you're like at this point it's kind of willful ignorance because I mean we have the internet, you have all different types of things to connect you to the world. So it's like okay. But yeah, now Spain can be yeah. And I think that was what we wanted to really capture in Black in Spain, Black in Madrid. Do I even know the name of my own documentary? By the way, shout outs to Sidra Bing, the producer, and Alexandra Dorante, who it was the director of Black in Madrid, which is a docuseries, a 9 episode docuseries that we created about, it was like 2 years ago. It was a while back. And one of the cast members, Lucia, she talks about that. And Lucia is a really popular Spanish journalist, activist, um, and author. And she grew up in Spain. So I really think that was one of the things we wanted to capture in the documentary is like those questions that are asked and how, you know, people who actually grew up in Spain felt about being Black in Spain. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get to these questions. Gayla asked, "How's the Arab influence?" And referring to like the Arab occupation of Madrid and the South. Oh yeah.
I think Christine, you probably can speak better to that question than I can.
Well, I mean the Arab influence is I mean it's completely linked. A lot of Spanish has Arabic words in it, so there
Yeah.
you go. Um, I mean some of those words are still similar. Like you can say olivas, but you can say aceitunas, and I think it's the same word in Arabic. So the influence is definitely more felt, like structurally and architecturally down south. Um,
Especially down south.
yeah, but like, are there a lot of Arab people or people from the Arab region or speak Arabic? Um, I don't know. Like, not so much here. Well, like, not so much here in Barcelona. I would say there is definitely people who are from Morocco, and there's a lot of tourists. But I won't say that there is a feeling of like an Arab influence or like an Arabic or whatever part of the city. Like there's small little Chinatowns and different parts, and even Raval is very full of all the ethnicities. Um, yeah, what do you think about Madrid? Did you see?
Yeah, I think Madrid has some influence for sure. So I didn't even really think about Barcelona at all being because I didn't, but
Yeah,
Madrid, I think definitely more than Barcelona.
yeah.
Mhm.
We have another question. Thank you, Galen, for being so like, and
Yes.
it's early. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you. Spain had a lot of racist actions in the early 2000s, especially towards black players. The penalties for racist acts would be fines against the clubs. Yeah, racism in sports. I think that probably is still a thing in Europe. Like Europeans don't take racism seriously, in my opinion. They're just
Right.
like it's a joke, or as long as we're not like killing you, but they still actually there's police brutality and killings around Europe, then it's not a big deal. The issue is that they compare themselves to the United States, and so they're like, well, we're not anywhere close to that, so we're cool. And it's like, no, it's not
Right.
like that. Let's see what else we have. Sophia saying, I found in general that history isn't taught in Europe, which is crazy.
Sophia.
Definitely intentional, at least for people in my age range. Yo, that
Preach.
is guilty conscious much, maybe. I don't
Okay.
know. That's crazy.
The
That is
irony.
crazy. Let us let's move on to, okay, so you're not in Madrid right now. Tell us again where you are and why aren't you in Madrid? Tell us about that.
Okay, so I am in H-Town, Houston, Texas, home of the great Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, Robert Glasper, a lot of different awesome people. But well, I'm in Houston because I left Madrid because honestly, I was like, I cannot really live like this anymore. It was okay. So I like a specific lifestyle, Christine. I don't know if you know. I like a specific lifestyle, and currently I'm living that lifestyle. But for me, it was just there wasn't enough money. It wasn't sustainable. So I love how you do talk about being financially stable on your podcast, like because that's important. I think people think. I don't know. People think that okay, you can survive in Madrid on certain salaries or whatever, but it's not really sustainable at all. So I think that really having I didn't really have my financial house in order. I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I wanted to elevate, and I knew that in order for me to do that, I did have to go home where I had ample opportunities. So I went home, got my teacher certification, I teach fifth grade. My little kids are so cute. Fifth grade, reading and writing. With that being said, I'm not going to be here long because I do want to return abroad now that I do have my financial house in order. And that's something, if anyone wants to move abroad and you're out there, I do encourage you to really have a sound financial plan. Securing, hey, H-Town, is that Victor? Like Victor that I'm thinking. But just having your financial house in order. I have it in order now. I'm so grateful. You need money. You need money to get it. A remote job is perfect. A work from home job is really where it's at. A job that'll allow you to travel and do do what you want to do and just live the life. And so that's definitely my next goal. So I wasn't in Madrid because my finances were not in order. Child, I was broke.
And that's what, like, I appreciate you saying that because I think a lot of people don't get it. They think, like, not even just Spain, they'll move to somewhere cheaper and that'll solve all their issues or they're going to make it work. And it's just like, there's so many things to think about, right? Not only obviously the cost of living, but if you're going to be living off of the economy, and as auxiliaries, like you're basically working off the economy because the stipend is, and I think in Madrid was like 1,000. When I was in La Rioja, it was 700. So yeah, you could live, but how well are you living?
Exactly. Like it just makes me like it does. Sophia, I don't know if I'm saying your name right or wrong. I'm sorry. She said, Victor, you already know. She said one of my besties live in Houston. And financial stability is so crucial. It definitely is. Like I couldn't imagine living on that 1,000 euros these days. And it's because like I don't know. You just, like you said, you want to be able to live well. You want to be able to do a lot of different things. I mean, you could stay at home if you're going to struggle. Like,
And that's why I tell people all the time. I said, the thing is not go abroad just to be abroad. The thing is to thrive abroad.
Right.
And that requires intentionality. That requires because you take yourself abroad. And like, if you don't got it together, you ain't gonna get it together. Like,
you're not.
We tend to attract the same kind of cycles or same situations until we're done with it, right? And the same thing about money. It's important for us to really understand like what is a life well lived for us, which I think is like a difference between. I'll speak to some other auxiliaries I've seen in past years, depending on how old I guess people are when they come into Spain like that. So you were just looking for something to do, and some people are like trying to make a life change. But see, the difference is I think it's all about intentionality because you will find there's people who are auxiliaries and then auxiliaries for 6-7 years. Some of them love it, and they're like, this is cool, and some of them can't figure out how to take the next step because they're so worried about getting employed in Spain when that is probably not the move.
That's the worst. That's
actually skills.
That's actually the worst move, I think, because Spain is not going to pay you what you should get paid. You know, let's they the minimum wage, I don't know what the minimum wage is now, if it has increased or decreased, but it's not that much. Like the auxiliary gets paid way more than the not way more, but gets paid more than minimum wage, and they only work 16 hours. So I think the move, if you guys do want to come to Spain, or if you want to just go anywhere in the world, you need to have a remote job, or you need to have some savings. You need to have some investments of, let me not tell you guys to invest in crypto. I love crypto, but you guys don't have to. Just have some investments or something, because you want to make sure that you can sustain yourself. And honestly, shout outs to you, because Christine has taught me just so much just about being financially stable, about just just in watching her and how she moves abroad. Like, she's really living her life because she was intentional. You probably set a list out and was like, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do this. And that's important, because everything, once you set that list out or your goals out, everything that you do has to be in alignment with your goal.
Well, thank you for that. I don't feel like I got it all together, but look, it's about
You do.
cultivation. You got to get
Yes.
your hands dirty. And I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty, because for me, going back to the States and that lifestyle is just, it's not an option. I'm like, I have to make it work abroad. And the thing about deciding to leave your home country, I'll say specifically for Americans, it requires us to think years and years ahead, because we may not have social security, one, just because social security, like as a pension, because of the system is failing, and then two, we may not have enough working years contributing to it. So it requires you to be intentional, take off the rose colored glasses. Doesn't mean
Exactly.
you got to think about things are all horrible. You can still have some wine on a terrace and kick it and go to the beach, but it just requires you to say, what is it that I want in my life? And I'm going to have to make some changes. It's going to be uncomfortable because you haven't done it. And this
Right.
is going to become old hat, and it's going to be fine. But, you know, it doesn't make any sense to leave your home country just to struggle. Like, who does that? Like, let's not
Exactly.
do it. Mm-mm.
That's crazy. Victor said, researching finances and setting myself up better financially before coming to Spain is something I really wish I would have done before moving to Spain. I wish I would have done the same thing.
What
We're both from
Victor,
Houston. I know Victor, so we're both from Houston. But yeah, it's the truth.
you can
Like,
still make some moves, because I mean, that's what I did. I moved here. I thought it was gonna be sabbatical, it's gonna be short term. I was like, oh, I'm not, and I was living in La Rioja and I was working 12 hours a week, 3 days a week. So I was like, oh, I'm not going
baby,
back.
you were chilling, weren't you?
I was so, I was like, I'm not going back to Atlanta. No.
Okay.
But I had to figure out how to make it happen. I had to flip it into remote gig after remote gig, back to working for myself. And it's worth it though. It's worth it. It's worth it. So you can
It,
do it, Victor. I believe in you.
oh, he can definitely
Um,
do it.
Gaylan says, what do you say, Gaylan? I'd rather be broke at home where I know a system and have family to maybe help. That's true, because if you're not a citizen of some place,
Okay.
they're not. They may, some places have better social security social networks or safety nets than other places. But let me tell you, there's no country in this world, no matter what you hear, is want some foreigner
Hmm.
to live off of their whatever their welfare, whatever.
Okay.
They don't want. That's
Not
why
at
someone just
all.
made it like, how much money you got?
Okay. Okay. I see we got Ken in the building. Shout outs to Ken. You know Ken?
Ken, editor extraordinaire,
Yeah.
videographer. I follow him on Instagram, and like, I gotta get my reels together one of these days.
Yeah, because he is great. He actually shot a lot of our document. He's actually was in the documentary as well. He's in the last and final episode, the ninth episode. He has a business called Hello. I'm sorry if I'm butchering this. HELLOEKOW. I think you guys should go follow him. He's an amazing videographer. So, and he helps me a lot he created a lot of our content. Actually, he probably created all of our content aside from like the documentary. He shot some stuff in the documentary, but he's just the bomb. He's the bomb.
Yes, support Ken, support Ken. We have
Yes.
another question. How did you deal with health insurance as an expat? That's a good one.
That is a great one. So when you join the North American Cultural Assistant Program, they give you, it comes with insurance. Like they automatically give you insurance through your employer. And it's really actually, when I was there, it was actually really great insurance, like phenomenal insurance. It was like pretty amazing.
I've heard when I was in La Rioja, I had really excellent health insurance too by really like a premium company,
Hmm.
DKV. Um, but they have the governments have changed, and now they have like some catastrophe insurance now that everybody
Right.
hates. That's sad.
I
Um,
know. When I was there, like it was really amazing. But yeah, I hear like horror stories about it now. So
it sucks. But now living here in Barcelona, I've had Sanitas, and now I have a Deslas. And
how
it's
this
okay.
was, is it good?
It's good.
Is
It's
it
very affordable. I pay like 40 something euros a month,
good? Hmm.
and because of the visa type, you can't have any co-pays or anything. So I just go to the doctor and
For
well,
free.
not this year because you can't go to the doctor because COVID. Um
COVID. COVID messed up a lot of stuff. COVID messed up my plans to visit last year.
it's tough.
Yeah.
What else we have? We have
Ah,
yeah. I'm
mm,
watching. I gotta get my reels together. I got
yeah.
to, because that's where it's at, and I'm playing around with it.
Right. He kills it on
Um,
reels.
what do I do for remote work? Okay, Gaylan, have you listened to Flourish in the Foreign podcast, sir? That's all right.
I
Because you've been really engaged
love
in this,
Gaylen.
so I'm
I
not
love
gonna hold it
Gaylen.
against you. But you can listen to Flourish in the Foreign podcast, especially my episode, which is like episode 9 or 10. So, what I first did while I was an auxiliary, I was always on the hustle because that's just who I am as a person. I first try to, before I even try to get a remote gig, I was pitching my services to the gestor and who else was in my building? Like on my first floor of my apartment building were like two Spanish, like there's a law firm and a gestoria. And I was like, hey, y'all need some translation services? Like, what y'all need? I can do it. Um, but that didn't work out. So then I had a friend who was also an auxiliary, and she had a remote gig based in DC, and they needed help writing business articles. So I started writing business articles, and then we had a really good rapport. They needed my expertise, and then I got promoted to a full time job as a business strategist, doing some sales and marketing advice for some of their clients.
Hustler.
And then I was just like, you know what, I want to do what I want to do because that's how I started my career. I worked for a startup and I started working for myself. And I was like, I want to see if I can do what I want to do now outside of like the toxic grind culture and see if I can really make it happen. And so
That's
I'm a
hard.
business strategist. So that's what I do. I primarily help Black women, women of color, leverage their talents and their skills into a viable and sustainable online business so that they can thrive abroad. Something that in which all my clients have a core competency that they have been, selling to other people for hourly kind of wages, a
Yeah.
salary, and now they're taking it on themselves to really become financially abundant, and professionally fulfilled on their own terms. That's what I do. I also have a podcast. I monetize my podcast. Very excited
Hey.
about that. I got some more products coming out. So that's what I do. That's what I do.
And for me, for remote work, did you know I had a remote job, girl?
You didn't tell me that. What you do?
Girl. So I work for an educational tech company. So that's what I'm kind of moving towards. It's contract work, but it's great to get a check. As a matter of fact, I just got a check. Like nothing makes me happier than a check. I just got a check today. Just got a check. I just on my phone. There's like, they just sent me my money for it, and it's a weekly paid. So I work for an educational tech company as an education program manager. And basically what I do is manage the company is like they're like a tutoring company. I don't want to say tutoring because it doesn't sound, they help, like they do small groups for like tier 1 and tier 2 students. So I help manage the programs in the different regions. So I'm mostly in like the southeast region. Yeah, the southeast region of the United States. So I have like 20 programs that I manage. It's a lot, especially with the teacher, but I really like it. And honestly, if I were to take that job abroad, I could live, but me wanting more, I need more. So,
Multiple streams. That's
yeah,
important.
I need multiple streams. So, that's definitely a really great stream. It's allowed me to do a lot of good stuff. It's allowed me to pay Ken, because Ken is great. Ken is going to charge you, but he deserves it because he's amazing. So it's allowed me to pay Ken,
There
my
you go.
videographer.
There you go. Here we go. The next one is, what did we do? Oh, hey, Sophia. Yes, you do need to talk to me. Yes.
You do.
Um, what do I tell you to do? Go to the website, www.flourishingtheforeign.com/Christine, or you have my email. Just send me an email. And we can definitely chat because I'm about to start another cohort of clients. I do one-on-ones. I do a 12-week sprint. That's how I launched my podcast and monetized it. I did it in 12 weeks. And then I'm also going to be offering group coaching, which is my first time. I'm excited about it because I'm going to do it in a different kind of way. Because I like things to be intimate and cozy. So,
Right.
yeah, send me an email. Let's get it popping because this year is flying by.
This
Flying
year,
by.
it's about to be April. What? It's
That's the
crazy.
thing. But the thing is people overestimate what they can get done in like a week or a
Oh my
month.
God. That
And
is
they
so true.
underestimate what they can do in a quarter. Like
It,
you can launch and convert. Like you can start having conversions on a business in a quarter. You
right.
can really refine. You can get visibility. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. But people always push it. They're like, "Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready." And I'm like, "You're never gonna be ready. That's the whole point. Like you're
You
never gonna."
tell me that all the time. You're like, Traneka, Melanin Madrid is awesome. And you really need to blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, by
Yeah,
the
you
way, guys,
do.
look how cute this is. Oh, can y'all really see this?
Look at that. You got merch. Tell them where they can get the merch.
You can go to www.melaninmadrid.com to get our merch. It's super cute. Phone cases, cups, all different kind of things to rep our community. So our meaning everyone who's all 2,000 members, it's our community. So yeah, we have merch, and you've been
Do you
telling me
ship
to
to
come out with
Spain?
my huh?
Do you ship to Spain?
Yeah, I ship to Spain. I ship, we ship worldwide. Worldwide. There are a few places that we don't ship to, but mostly everywhere we ship everywhere. But and as a matter of fact, I need to give you guys a discount code if you the people listening. I need to go look because I actually forgot what the discount code was. But I'll make sure that everyone has a discount code at the end of the show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause
Yeah,
we definitely want to support, and I want to get my merch
I
and
appreciate.
support. So let's get into wellness. Some people always like, you talk about wellness. I'm like, yeah, because it's like the cornerstone of everything. Of
Right,
like, if you're not well, a lot of stuff is not gonna go right in your life.
for sure.
So Traneka says her definition of wellness is being able to live every day as she wants. Living abroad taught her that she can live a life that she desires. She just had to have the courage to put herself in an environment to be happy. There's so much power in being able to choose the life you live. Oh my goodness, that's a lot to unpack. Let's do
It
that
is.
though.
Okay, let's unpack.
So, first, okay, living abroad taught you that you can live a life that you desire. How did living abroad do that for you?
I think it was just having the freedom. There was just something about freeing about being in Spain for some reason. I think maybe it could have been the accessibility to other countries, me being able just to be like, oh, okay, let me go to Paris. Okay, let me go to, I guess what, Rome, Naples, Sardinia. Like, let me go. Like, I don't know. There was just so much freedom. And I think that I could have had that freedom in the US. I just didn't take advantage, but there was just something about being there. And I think it was the environment also really helped me as well have the confidence because I think for the first time I was around people who were very similar to me in the sense of like they like to travel, they like to do things. We had a similar mindset. It was just being in the environment of those being around those people, just being in that environment really just like boosted my confidence. I was like, there are people that like to travel like me. There are people that like to, and I'm lucky enough to be around them. So that really just inspired me and gave me the confidence. I just did so many things I mean, even just like creating Melanin Madrid and having people be very receptive, like that made me feel good. So
Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's get to the other part of your wellness. Let me do this. I agree. I think what's interesting is that when you're home, even if you think you are super aware and very present, you are you're very much subscribed to these social norms, and that can
exactly.
be assumptions, beliefs that you have for yourself, your family, like the things that you can do and the things you can't do. And a lot of times we're not even aware of that until we're put outside of that and we're given these choices that we never had before or we never thought we had because it's available to us and people are living differently. And it changes everything. Let's talk about this next statement. You say you just had to have the courage to put yourself in an environment to be happy. What does that mean? What does that mean? You mean living abroad isn't just gonna make you happy? Like just magically get on a airplane is not gonna make you happy?
Sadly, no. It's really not. Because no matter where you go, you still have the same shit inside of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter where you go, you are who you are. Like, you can change the location, but the person is going to be the same. So, a lot of the change really comes with yourself. The environment definitely helps. It helps a lot because it gives you maybe just the helps you think, helps you get your mind clear. But what are you going to do once you get your mind clear? Once you do that, like what changes are you going to make? So I think that, like I said, it's very important to really just deep like once you get that time abroad, you get that freedom, you're in that environment that you wanted to be in. Now it's time to heal or do whatever you have to do to um, put yourself in a position to go to the next level. Because I really believe that unless you're really ready mentally, a lot of times you probably won't get to that next level if you have a lot of things to heal or a lot of things to fix. And I think, like I said, the environment helps, but you just have to change yourself. Sounds cliche, but it's true.
I love that because too many people think like I'm just gonna move to Barcelona and it's gonna be great. And I'm like, no, it probably won't.
It probably won't if you're not right, or is best. You're not your best self. Not saying you just have to come perfect, but takes a lot of introspection. Like you really. I mean, it takes a lot of self work. It's hard. Imagine going to another country. You're functioning in another language. Sometimes you can barely function in your own language. So you're adding a lot of different issues, really. You know, it's not what what people paint it to be. It's not perfect.
Yeah. It's not Instagram travel photos. Like
No,
traveling abroad is not the same or anywhere close to being the same as living abroad.
living
And people
exactly.
got to know that. because if not, you're gonna hurt your own feelings. And I don't want you to
Exactly.
do that.
Right. Exactly. Respectfully, as Justin says, respectfully.
We're actually coming to the close of our time together. If y'all have any more questions for Traneka, go ahead and put them in the comment section right now.
Yes.
Um, let's talk a little bit more about your docu series as we wrap up. Tell me why you wanted to create it and why is it 9 episodes? Like, tell like what is the journey you're gonna be taking us on?
Well, so Black in Madrid was what I want people to know is that Black lives matter everywhere. And I think that people are really stuck, like you said, thinking like racism is an American problem. And it is, but it's also they think it's just an American problem, but anti-Blackness is global. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was so important for me to include these specific people. Like I feel like everything that was supposed to happen happened. People who we had to cut the episodes. Some people we had to cut the episodes. It's just, but that everyone's supposed to be in there. Our goal was to really get a diverse cast. Like, how are you going to tell certain stories without including people who were actually born in that place? And I think a lot of things that I've seen have been, oh, I'm going to tell you how it is to be Black in Madrid, and it's just like, oh, okay, where the people that are from who actually grew up in Madrid, where are they? How are you going to tell a story without including Afro-Spanish people? You know, that's just asinine. But we had Lucia, we have Paula, who's Afro-Latina. She's from Ecuador. We have Izzy, he's Nigerian, but he's from London, born and raised in London. Um, we have Nicole Pearson, who's American, CJ Baker, who is a musician, a rapper, an amazing rapper, who Ken is also in the band as well. He plays the bass in the band. So we have CJ and Ken. So they're like an American British rap duo. um, and we have, I don't want to forget anybody. I feel like I'm forgetting people. Of course, we have this guy named Poppy. Yeah, that's his real name. I was like, no, bro, your real name. He was like, no, that's my name. I was like, oh, okay. He's from Senegal. We have a guy named Malik, and he's also from Senegal. So it was very important for us to also, we have to have Senegalese people because aren't there a lot of Senegalese people in Madrid? Like, there are a lot. So of course we had to have we wanted just to make it like hella diverse and to have like different people, different perspectives, but one thread in common is that they're all Black, but they all experience things a little bit differently. And like I said, we just wanted to add a voice to Afro Spanish people, add a voice to Black people globally, specifically in Madrid.
I love it. I think that is so, so important because I think it's really important. I think as Black people, Black Americans, we understand that even in the United States, we're not a monolith. Like,
Right.
you're from Houston, I'm from Atlanta. We'll be like, we have different cultures, and
We
people don't get
do.
that. Like, Southern
Regionally, like, I mean, it's
different cultures,
different. Right.
right?
Exactly.
And so, because of different cultures, we have different backgrounds, different lived experiences. How we are perceived, received, and how we experience an environment is different, and how we relate to one another, or how we identify or define our Black identity is different, and it should be discussed in nuance. And we shouldn't flatten
Exactly. Right.
because people like to flatten it because it's like, oh, y'all Black people, and it's like, no,
Right.
no.
Exactly. And I was actually speaking in another for an interview with a girl, and she was white, but she was very, she was listening, and I was like, yeah, like I was speaking specifically about that. I was like, yeah, we're Black, but we're all culturally so different. The commonality is that we're Black, but we're so different. It's not even. And I think even coming to Madrid, like, I knew that, but I really realized it because I was able just to see it firsthand, like see it in real time. So I know we're coming to the end.
Like, I love that you're doing it, and I think it's so important for people to see it. I think especially for Black Americans to see it because there's a lot of Black Americans who are trying to go abroad, and they're looking for community. And we also got to realize that to be in community is to be receptive, and also to
Yes.
listen, and to actually, it's a reciprocal kind of nature. So
Mm-hmm.
don't go abroad looking for a Black American community. And though you may consciously think like, I'm not doing that, a lot of people do, because I be seeing some of these comments. I'd be like, sir, ma'am, this is not Orlando. This is not Atlanta.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Um, really quickly, Ken says, what was something that still surprises you about living abroad to this day?
Um, honestly, the amazing friendships that I made, honestly, like it's still surprising. A lot of my friends, I really still keep in touch with them. Um, it was the friendships that really surprised me. Um, Good people. I really met some really great people. Another thing that surprises me about living abroad, that I did it, because sometimes I had lived this life here and I do enjoy my life in Houston. At one point I wasn't enjoying it. But when I got a little bit of bread, then I got happier. Money does bring happiness. Don't let people lie to you, FYI. Money brings you a lot of happiness. So I think it was just me actually doing it. And then not even forgetting, but then like when I'm talking to people and they talk about Spain, I used to be like, "Oh, I used to live there," kind of mentioning it like matter of fact, and they're like, "What?" You and so that it's still exciting to, I guess, get the responses from people that you actually lived in another country. But the next time that I do live in Spain, I don't want to just live there, as you say, Christine. I want to thrive there, and I definitely will thrive the next time. I'll be there this summer, so look out for me, Ken, because I got some work for you to do.
And then our last question from Gaylan, are there groups like this for Black men too? Well, Melanin Madrid is for everybody, right?
Yeah, it's for everyone. I don't know specifically for Black men because I'll be honest, like in Madrid, there are a lot of Black men, but I really didn't meet a lot of like, definitely not a lot of American Black men. They all play. Yeah, well, I don't know. They play sports. A lot. I did meet a lot of like in a group. Like that's the only like group I've seen like the athletes there, or the football players. But no, Melanin Madrid is for everyone. So yeah,
Yeah, join the group. It's a Facebook group, a website, it's all the things.
the group
So
is popping. It stays popping
always.
all
And
day,
look,
every day.
I never lived in Madrid, y'all. So I would just look at their pictures for Thanksgiving and just be sad.
Oh
Because
my
I
God,
live
we
in La
guys.
Rioja and I live in Barcelona. Barcelona, we do have like this young Black professionals group. Shout out to Rachel who started it, which is awesome and it is fun. We do have some good times. But before I found that, it was sad times for me. Just looking at everybody eating
Okay.
macaroni and being like,
We used to have some fun. We used to have like a lot of events and Thanksgiving events, which I do hope to bring it back this summer if restrictions permit, because we'll see what happens.
they will let you into Spain. Don't you know they're letting everybody into Spain for Semana Santa, but we can't move from comunidad to comunidad? Girl, that's a whole rant. That's a
Girl,
whole rant.
it is. They need some money, girl.
They're like, y'all be okay, y'all stay home. Let all these
Okay.
journeymen on the side.
When
just,
is
just get
Semana Santa?
vaccinated because we're not getting vaccinated till like October. So
Oh God, what? When is Semana Santa? Semana Santa is
next
like
week, I think. Right?
it's like Easter
Yeah,
break, and it's a whole week. Oof.
girl. All
So
right.
yeah,
Well, thank you, ma'am, for your time. We went over. I apologize, but it's always a good time chatting with you. I really love it.
I love chatting with you. And guys, I really, really hope that you go check out our docuseries. It came out March 21st. The first episode is with Lucia Asu. Let me just say Lucia Rubio, the popular journalist, activist, and author. And I really hope that you guys watch it. She's Afro Spanish. She grew up in Madrid. Well, kind of like the afueras, the suburbs in Madrid. So I really hope you guys watch it. I've been getting some great feedback on the episode. And next week we have the second episode. Well, Sunday, the second episode with Paula. And she is a mental health specialist, and she kind of goes into, how we can create safe spaces. If we ever experience, people ever experience any racism, and it's thank you so much.
Girl, I've already watched the first episode, and I was
Did you like it?
I was like, why don't you Netflix this? I didn't even binge watch this. I was mad at first, but I was like, I'm gonna just wait.
I low key, when we were going over with Sidra and Alex, they're the producer and director. I was like, why don't we just put every episode out and just let people, watch like all the episodes? They were like, no, let's just put it out. I was like, we put all those teasers. I'm not gonna lie, when we were putting those, I was like, oh my God, I would be mad. Like, I'm putting all the teasers out. Everybody's like, where is it? Where's the? And I'm like, it'll be out. But we had the premiere, and it actually went really good. I'm sorry, I'm going over. Knowing I have to go to work. What am I even doing? I got to go to work.
But I'll be patient, and I'm already subscribed. I'm ready for the next episode. I think that next episode sounds so necessary, so I can't wait to watch it. Thank you so much, Traneka, for your time. Y'all make sure to go to melaninmadrid.com, join the Facebook group, because it is always popping, and it's just a really nice community. People always trying to help each other. People give great advice. It's just really, really nice. And, outside of COVID times, things are usually popping. But
yes. Right now. Yes. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And appreciate everybody. Thank you for asking questions.
I know this has been like the most like popping one I've done. So apparently early in the morning, like this is the thing. Like Traneka been very my yard. So there we go.
It's because she popping. It's because she popping.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I appreciate you. If you have not listened to the podcast, go ahead and listen to Flourish in the Foreign. It is available across all platforms. You can also check out the website at www.flourishintheforeign.com. All information about how you can support the podcast is in the description here. We take Cash App, we take Patreon, we take crypto as well. So whatever y'all want.
Serious? Okay.
Well, I will take crypto. I'll figure it out. Yes, I will.
I love it. I'm gonna make my donation.
I just talked to a tax specialist on this like 2 days or 3 days ago, and she was like, "Oh yeah, if you have crypto abroad, like this is how you manage it." I was like, "Girl, say less."
I need to listen to that because I do have some crypto. I'm really into crypto. I'm kind of obsessed with crypto.
Yo, she is a phenomenal tax specialist. So definitely, if you have any ideas or you think about maybe purchasing property before you leave the States or abroad or anything, basically like a tax strategy, you need to go ahead and hit her up because she has been in this space for, 15 plus years. She was in Kuwait. Like she knows her stuff. So,
okay.
Anyway, plugging more stuff. More stuff. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.